he said, if you don't get on a stand, you're going to lose. You're going to jail. I said, I can't take the stand, man.
Welcome to this episode of Chattin with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got PeeWee, Goldsmith, and Repo Rod. What's up, Repo? What's up, PeeWee?
What's going on, man?
What's going on? How are you guys?
What's up, Rod?
Good, man.
Bringing old friends together.
Yeah. We stay in touch all the time anyway.
For the people out there that don't know who you are, you guys want to introduce yourself? We'll start with Repo.
Repo Rod, he's former HA member.
In the East Coast.
Oh, yeah, on the East Coast.
Yeah. And I'm PeeWee. I was a Hell's Angel in the West Coast. That's where I started off in San Francisco. Then I went to Las Vegas, and I started the Angels there. I originally started off in the Midwest in Minnesota, but that's another story in itself.
When did you guys first meet?
We met, where was that, Rod? It was, well, I seen Rod at events all the time, you know, like at Bears. He was the only one. I thought he was the only one that rode his bike to Bear's funeral, and it was snowing and everything, you know. I flew in from California.
I literally rode all the way to Bear's funeral and all the way home.
Yeah, that was crazy, man.
And what was it, snowing then, right?
Yeah.
It was snowing.
It was bad. It was bad out, man. It was bad out. Yeah, I remember that. I remember.
Is there any events that you guys went to where things maybe transpired? Like, what was it like for you guys going to events that you guys were at the same events?
Like lunatics. Right, Rod?
Oh, well,
yeah.
The USA runs was always a little bit crazy here and there. It wasn't just having a good time.
Yeah, it was, you know, it started, I think Staxx, when things started going bad is when, I think it starts going bad when people start like policing, you know, their own, because if that was the case, the club would have to shut down so many charters, your head would spin. But they started doing it like, you know, like they did with Rod's charter. Then they did it to Michigan. I watched this happening, and I just, those were the things that were turning my stomach, you know, the club feeding, like, hey, why aren't you guys taking care of your area? I'll give you an example, Michigan. Michigan was just like 6-7 guys in the whole state. And that state's pretty much all outlaws. They're all outlaws. And they're dominant. They're the dominant ones there. And it was their state. And they didn't like them being there. But the club is like, you guys better stand up and get out there and do your thing. But the only thing they were going to do, bro, is get killed. That was it.
Yeah. They do you think that they set these guys up for failure? Like in Rod's situation, he's down there in Philadelphia. He really doesn't have a lot of backing from the other charters, right?
Right. No, none of the other charters will back you on anything. Right, Rod?
Right. I got to say this. The East Coast is a different beast than the West Coast, because had the situations I was dealing with been on the West Coast, I think it would have been a whole lot different. A whole lot.
Well, I say there was a lot of times, too, that I was at events, Staxx, where I wouldn't let shit go down. You know what I mean? I don't care, you know? What's wrong is wrong. What's right is right. And, you know, these guys would always walk by me, which really pissed me off, and say, hey, PeeWee, come on, man, you're always up for a fight, because everybody knows I like to fight. And I'd say, I don't fight. I'm not into fighting with my brothers, you know? Yep. It just wasn't my thing. If a brother disrespect me, like if you and me, Staxx, were blood brothers, we get in arguments, we get in fights. You're still my brother. I love you. You know what I mean? It's not a hate thing. We're brothers, bro. We are brothers. So when I see a group that I'm in walking over to another portion of the group that we're all in and circling them and, you know, telling them, hey, you better do this, you better do that, I just shook my head. And I remember we were in Branson, Missouri on a USA run, and when they walked over, they all went over to confront Michigan. And I was talking to Fuzzy, and I said to Fuzzy, I said, man, you've been in this club a long time. Have you ever seen any shit like this? And he said, no, this is bad. That was,
Yeah.
And the same thing with Repo, too, man. That was horrible. That was horrible when I was in that room.
You were there.
I got up and walked out.
What do you remember from your perspective on that day?
Well, it was going along just like every other meeting goes, like the boring self, And then all of a sudden, like the atmosphere of the whole room changed. And I could see it was all bullshit. Because the guys up front that were running it said, hey, did you guys bring your votes? And Repo and all the guys were at the far end, like way to my far right. I mean, down the farthest, the whole room was filled with Hell's Angels from every charter on the East Coast. And he said, did you guys bring your votes in? And I was just sitting there, Staxx, kind of looking out like this for a crowd looking at them. And I could see guys' faces doing this. Like, votes? What votes? Like, nobody knew what was going on. And I was like, what the hell is happening here? And 3 charters stand up and said, we brought ours. Just 3 out of what?
3.
Yeah.
That's it.
Out of what?
3.
40, 50 charters?
Yep.
So they stood up and they said, we vote whatever it was, yes, for them to go, yes. And I still didn't know what they were talking about. And then one of those guys stood up and said, these are the votes to throw Philly out. And I'm like, throw them out for what? I didn't get it. And then, they stood up when the three charters had said, yes, out. The rest didn't even vote on it. And even Repo will tell you that with just that, they would have to say, technically, take it back to your charters on the next OM and bring your votes in. That's the way it should have been done. But they said, we're just going to go with these 3 then. And then when they stood up, they said, hey, you guys take your shit off.
Yeah.
Repo said, fuck you, come and get them.
So even if Repo would have said, all right, and took his jacket off and gave it up, would he still have the same outcome that happened?
Yeah, I think he would have.
Oh, yeah.
I seen it. I could feel it in the room, Staxx. I could feel it. And that was another one. As they walked past me, they said, come on, PeeWee, you're always up for a good fight. Swear to God, said it again. And I looked at him, I said, nah, not this time, man. I said, this is fucked up. And I had a new guy with me. He was only in the club 6 months.
Yeah.
A tattoo artist. And he's sitting there, and I said to him, see what's going on here? This is the beginning of the end of this club. This is the end of this brotherhood, man. They're feeding off each other like sharks. It was bad, bro. It was really bad. And when the fight started, these guys were holding their own with the guys from the table. Then everybody in the room got up and got involved and jumped on them, like 40 guys. So when that happened, I just stood up and I said, we're out of here. And they ran up. Hey, wait. Ain't your guy a tattoo guy? We want him to black these tattoos out. I said, nah, fuck that, man.
Yeah.
They can throw out a whole charter, the whole charter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yet, I brought up at OM and on the West Coast a guy who I liked. I liked him very much. I thought he was a great brother. And I wrote a motion for everybody to take to their charters and vote on this guy, to vote him out of the club. Because, they tell us, you're never supposed to take the witness stand, right? You can't take the stand. You can't snitch. You can't do this stuff. Well, that's fine. I'm good with all that. So I went to jail 2-3 times, not taking a stand where I could have walked.
So you can't even defend yourself in court?
No.
There is no defending yourself. You just have to take whatever they give you.
Staxx, I had this guy rip my shop off in Sturgis, the shop I had. He stole a bunch of shit from it. He got his ass kicked, and I got my stuff back But then after they arrested me, I can't even make this up. They took all the parts I had hanging on my walls with my stickers on them, gave them back to the guy because he said they were his parts. Gave them back and made me pay him $10,000 restitution. And my lawyer says, you got to get on a stand. We got a credit card of yours that's in my name, shows that you bought all that stuff. And I said, I can't do it. And he said, if you don't get on a stand, you're going to lose. You're going to jail. I said, I can't take the stand, man. So I could not defend myself. So I went to jail. I got a felony. I had to pay him $10,000.
So that's part of the rules. You can't go on the witness stand.
No, not at all.
Bro, ask Repo. We could get hit by a car, be laying in the road, get the car's license number, or even know the guy who ran you over. And you could say, hey, if you tell the cops, you're out. You're done.
Yep.
Now, what if you're in a car accident and you got to sue the insurance? Can you sue the other person's insurance or no?
Well, with me, I had to use my insurance for the underinsured, you know what I mean, to pay for my bike and stuff. But the bad part is you're laying out in the road, you don't know what's even broke on you, and you can't, you know what I mean? You're gonna go to the hospital. You ain't suing anybody, but the club tells you, hey, you know what we'll do? We'll take care of it. The old school way. The old school way's gone, bro.
Yep.
You know, when you are knocking on people's door today, you're going to jail,
prison. You're going to prison.
Right on the phone and
Yep.
So what are you going to get out of the guy, Staxx? You're going to go to his house and say, hey, you broke my back. What are you going to get? His car? His house? He ain't going to get it. He's going to call the cops.
So you've dealt with that too, Repo, right? Where you can't do anything. You're stuck in a position.
Same thing in my case. We knew it was a Philadelphia member that dropped his case on me. And there was a co-defendant in the case from another 1% club in Philadelphia. And he took the stand and testified, and he sat right there and told the whole court and pointed at me. That's not the white man that was with me that day, and said who it was. And it was a former Philadelphia member who up and cowardly quit. But I couldn't take the stand. I took the fifth. They originally offered me 9 to 20 years in a plea deal. And I went up with 5 to 10 on that because I did not take the stand.
And you could not take the stand. That was part of the rules that you were living by.
Yeah.
And me.
And you.
But I think that's changed, bro. Right, Rob? I think that's changed. I think those guys can get on the stand. It
appears to change because there's cases out there now where angels have testified. And I don't know whether because I'm not there, but as far as I know, it depends also on who you are.
Right. Going back, like I was telling Rod, going back to that guy I wrote the motion on, I told you I liked him. He was a good guy. I loved him as a brother. And he was a straight up gangster, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Took care of you know what I mean? He was out there blasting away, taking care of business. He was a good Hell's Angel that way. But where he messed up is he got on a stand, and I already left the courtroom. I was there to support him. And I spent the whole week there during the trial. And right at the end, I knew he was winning. I said, I'm going to take off. I'm going to Sturgis. I got to work on the shop, do a bunch of repairs. And I said, I'm going to head out. He's already won this case. And I said, okay. And I left. And one of the members calls me and goes, hey, you're not going to believe it. He took the stand. I said, why did he take the stand? And he said, well, he did. And he said, they showed a picture of you, me. And they said, who is this? And he says, oh, that's PeeWee. And he goes, you mean Charles Goldsmith? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, who is he to you guys up there? And this is his exact words. PeeWee's a guy we all check in with. He's the shot caller up there. And I'm hearing this and I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah. He said that you're the guy that everybody checks in with, you know, and I'm the guy who, like, you know, runs everything. So why we're in this trial that we're in was for 5 outlaws getting shot in Custard Park. Did I send them out there? Because I'm the shot caller. You know what I mean?
Basically, he's pointing the finger at you.
Right. And then I had an old tattoo on the back of my arm where you know, it was all outlaws must die. But when we were going through a truce thing with those guys, they said no more of those tattoos and stuff. So I covered it up. But the time of the photo, it was still on the back of my arm. And they pointed it out to him. What does this mean? And he read it out loud in courtroom. I was just like, man, this is crazy. And like I said again for the 100th time, I did not hate the guy. I loved him. But he was originally from Canada, and he only got into this country because he was with some chick, but his visa ran out, whatever it was, and they deported him back to Canada. But Canada took him. And I was telling Canada, what, you know, hey, I'm not saying throw him out because he's a piece of shit, but he did break a rule. And that's why I say, man, I don't believe none of the rules, none of the bullshit. They don't have any rules to live by. They got no code of honor. They don't have.
No.
They're going to. That's why they lost the respect. Right, Rod?
Make it up as you go.
So, you know, now that this individual, I don't want to say his name, he goes back to Canada, and I'm sure he's doing his Hell's Angel thing there real good, but I don't know who he pissed off. It was nobody in the club, I guarantee that, because he was found shot in the back of the head under a bridge somewhere in Canada, but he had his patch on. No way would another Hell's Angel do that. I mean, he would do, one Hell's Angel would do that to another one, obviously. We've seen him in the dog cook-up factory. So with that being said, he still had his patch on. If an angel would have done it, he would have took the patch off.
Yeah, they would have took the patch from him.
Right. So it was somebody else that did that to him, you know, and I'm sorry to see him go like that, you know.
And we were talking before, and you were saying a lot more angels have killed angels than
in the last 10 years. Then they have killed their enemies. But I don't know now. It might slow down a little bit, Staxx, because, you know, the cookie jar top is open and the info's all out about the doggy infirmary.
Yeah. Did you know some of the guys, Repo?
Yeah, a few.
I knew them all.
Do you want to tell us about that?
I only know what I see or read or hear in the news, bro, because I was already out of the club by then, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, the whole event is just sick shit, man. These guys are all coming up missing and gone, and I don't know, bro. Things have changed so much and so bad. I mean, I don't know what the hell those guys are doing them to themselves. To me, when I joined the Hells Angels, I did it because I was joining the biggest, baddest fucking club in the world, you know? And they're letting themselves go to shit in a handbag, man.
PeeWee, are you shocked at the way they did Repo?
I'm shocked the way they did the whole thing. Yeah, just the way it went down. It was like a huge eye-opener. Like, wow. And then right after I saw that thing with Rod, what they did with Rod and them, that's when I told you I saw the Michigan thing in the summer. It was like about a couple of years probably after the Philly thing. And then all of a sudden they went over and telling the Michigan guys, you know, you better start watching your backyard and taking care. Well, if that's the case, bro, they need to hit a lot of charters and start throwing them out. You guys are a bunch of duds. Yeah. Beat it.
Yeah, they don't tell you go over here and kill these guys.
No, they don't say nothing like that. No.
Because let me make it clear, it's not a criminal organization. Even though you guys aren't in the club, you never signed up to be in a criminal organization, right?